The October surprise of 2018 to be preceded by a September shock and awe. Deep state planning false flags attacks to shock the American people into submission. State of the nation. Not only will there be an overwhelming October surprise in 2018, it will be set up by a September shock and awe. Intelligence analyst and former military officer. Everyone needs to understand what's at stake with the midterm elections. The election outcomes will determine whether there's an impeachment, a coup d'état or a civil war. The nation has never been in such a precarious place. And, the unfolding Purple Revolution stands as an undeniable testament to this grim reality. Make no mistake about it, the barbarians are inside the gate and they are very close to tearing down the castle. Clandestine operations launched by the U.S. intelligence community in tandem with the mainstream media magnates and sultans of Silicon Valley are now taking place 24/7 across America. The many unparalleled and shocking events we see on the surface are just a tip of the iceberg. Were the U.S. citizenry to be privy to the ever-intensifying and seditious revolution going on in the background, many would have become expatriates when they were able to. Deep State has done an extraordinary job of providing the incessant and captivating bread and circuses. This was their only way to forever distract the body politic from the slow-motion destruction of our constitutional republic. So many people, especially liberals, have been dumbed down beyond help. They are the real irredeemables. Internet lockdown. What's clear is that the power that be will no longer tolerate a populace that takes advantage of its liberties. Therefore, the First Amendment right to free speech and the Second Amendment right to bear arms are both being threatened like never before. However, it's free speech in particular that is under withering assault during this momentous campaign season. The Internet has clearly proven to be a weapon in the hands of the common man in a way that TPTB never anticipated. Because the pen is mightier than the sword, any blogger or YouTuber, Tweeter or Facebooker can now send flaming arrows into the enemy camp like never before. Just one push of the keyboard can release myriad flaming arrows against a chosen deep state target. The globalists' New World Order agenda itself has been completely laid bare for everyone to see in 2018. Even though we do not yet know all the gory details of their black ops, the deep state underbelly that's now visible is very ugly and quite galvanizing for patriots. The Illuminati either miscalculated the introduction of the Internet or their cost-benefit analysis indicated an eventual total takeover of the net once a critical mass of the digitally connected was reached. We are at that very point today. Because of the fast-evolving state of IT affairs in 2018, it's now evident that the status quo is no longer acceptable to TPTB. After all, we all now know who they are, where they live, what they did and are still doing. The following video says it all in regard to their primary control mechanism of the various power centers of the Anglo-American axis. 1. It's of paramount importance to understand that the worldwide digital community is currently witnessing a global internet lockdown. Because of videos like the preceding one, the VIP perps can longer stand for their crimes being exposed in such graphic detail. Especially when VIPs are being named every day, will those guilty not be able to endure their outing? See Washington Pundit published list of names connected with Paydogate. The bottom line with regard to the unfolding internet lockdown is that the mainstream media is being set up as the unchallenged gatekeeper. President Trump is totally correct when he says the mainstream media is the enemy of the people. Now it's crucial for the American people to respond appropriately and expeditiously to this stark reality. If the Mockingbird media can take down a sitting POTUS in broad daylight, it ought to be easy to understand what the C.I.A. is doing behind the scenes against the body politic. Paydogate. Perhaps the single most important reason why the power elite are panicking is the radioactive disclosures leaking out by the day concerning Paydogate. This is where the internet has created the space for a full-blown digital revolution. Who knows how many young souls have been sexually abused or exposed to the satanic ritual abuse and murder associated with Pedogate. The fact of the matter is that many of these traumatized folks now want to tell their story to a global audience. And tell it they are. CIA child snuff survivor speaks out video. When only this aspect of this cyber-driven truth revolution is considered, it ought to be readily apparent that all hell has already broken loose for the bad guys. Their castles of security and comfort are all collapsing in real time. Hence, there was bound to be a major reprisal by the elites. For their reputations are now ruined beyond repair as their various brands also take hit after hit. It's for these unprecedented developments and other serious reasons that the fate of the internet hangs in the balance. At this very moment, Google is said to be building a censored search engine. Clearly, this corporate initiative is a precursor to a new censorship search engine in the USA. Each and every social media platform is taking a similar approach toward outright censorship in clear violation of the Second Amendment. September's shock and awe. This coming September is quite likely to see a number of coordinated events, each of which will be designed to curtail the power of those voters sharing sensitive information about candidates and political parties alike. It's entirely true that the pen is mightier than the sword, but the smartphone is much mightier than them both. Did the NWO globalists ever imagine that the man or woman on the street could capture evidence of their heinous crimes in a frozen image for eternity? Likely not. While it's inconceivable that the Illuminati failed to plan for this eventuality, there is now next to nothing from stopping their backlash. Deep state is so pervasive and all-controlling that there seems to be very little the average citizen can do to stop the stripping of their rights, constitutional, civil, human and others. Therefore, deep state appears to be acting as though their multifarious schemes are just a matter of execution. Hence, it's only a matter of when and where they will carry out the next Gladio-style false flag operation or PSYOP. Just as 9/11 was quite purposefully carried out in New York City and Washington, D.C. By the very same perps, the globalist cabal has identified the prime locations and dates to conduct these coming false flag attacks. Were one to plot each and every mass shooting over the past 2 decades on a timeline, it's clear that these staged events are increasing in number and frequency of occurrence. In other words, there is substantially less time between each attack as we get deeper into this decade. September is always a month of shock and awe black ops for several reasons that are beyond the scope of this expose. Because of the extreme importance of the 2018 midterms, the cabal certainly has something very big planned. As follows. The Gladio perps who maintain operational control of most terrorist operations have many types of false flags up their sleeve. Their shadow government masters will lean toward those engineered events that clearly demonize the right and glorify the left. These black ops will take place against the backdrop of a teetering stock market and threatening hot phase of WW3. Source: something wicked this way comes between now and Election Day. In light of these eventualities, it's critical for those who understand the purposes behind these Gladio operations to disseminate warnings like this one. For there is no better way to thwart the NWO chaos-causing conspiracies than to shed light on them. For if the alt media had written about a 9/11 terrorist attacks weeks before September 11, 2001, that apocalyptic tragedy would never have taken place. And there would never have been the ongoing war on terror that Americans are now being victimized by, as are other nations the world over. Conclusion: the American Republic has never been in such a perilous position. Because the barbarians are truly inside the gate, as they have been for many decades, the process necessary for arresting, prosecuting and incarcerating them for treason remains central to taking back the nation. Toward that end, Only military tribunals can be relied upon to proceed with all deliberate speed before we reach a point of no return. The following excerpt well explains why there is no other alternative at this late date. Military tribunals are especially required to prosecute the deep state criminals, rogue intel and SS agents and shadow government perps who are conducting a soft coup against the POTUS. But why military tribunals? Because those traitors practically own and operate the U.S. criminal justice system, that's why. Source: military tribunals. Why they are absolutely necessary. Those who cannot participate directly in this second American Revolution digital, of course, are encouraged to provide support for those of us who are the cyber warriors. As we quickly approach the midterms November 6, 2018, the best thing many folks can do is put your hands together and pray. At this very moment, the president is being stealthily set up for his removal from office. See, here's how deep state is taking down Trump. President Trump is also facing an enraged and implacable intelligence community, much like President John F. Kennedy did before his assassination. John Brennan, in particular, has been so unhinged that all hell can break loose at any time. After all, the ex-CIA director is a vital asset of the national security state and key cog in the deep state machine. Will ex-CIA Director Brennan become President Trump's Allen Dulles? Only massive exposure can short-circuit these nefarious plots and machinations. Only sunshine can sufficiently disperse this darkness inside the Beltway. Patriots, let's get busy post-haste. State of the Nation, August 17, 2018.